Hey everyone, welcome back. We are B. DeFrey, and today we have a super stellar guest.
That's
This
right.
is the Queen. I call her the Queen, but she's known as the First Lady.
Actually, he calls me Mom.
And I call her Mom. Yes. This is other Mom. Mom. Don't get jealous. Please do introduce yourself, Mom.
Sure. So, I'm Mary Louise Starkey. God help me, I'm at the end of 41 years of teaching people about service.
My Lord.
41
You think I'm
years.
old? Do you think I'm old now?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No.
Anyway, well, that's a good thing you say it like that. I have to constantly remind myself that I'm really not old, but I just am old. Been doing this a long time. Anyway, Starkey International Institute for Household Management. We train and we place people to work for the high net worth, people of real money. Real money. Not people who the wannabes. Real money.
I want in. Can I fit in? I want in.
And we place them. Most of these clients have multiple homes, and they want the best. In fact, I kind of have a waiting list for my graduates.
Wow.
Wow.
And having done this for so many years, the same clients that hired 25 years ago, and then my graduate retired, they want to hire again.
Wow.
And they call me and they say, "Hi, this is Joseph. You remember me? Joseph. Joseph." It's really been a journey for me and a gift. Honest to God, a gift. But you know how I got here? You remember how I got here?
Yeah.
He knows. I haven't
No,
told you.
dude, tell. Help me out. Yeah.
I got here because I kind of took, in my mind's eye, God, what I thought of was God at the time. I was a kid. By the scruff of the neck, and I said, "Give me something where I can make a difference."
Wow.
Well, be careful what you ask for.
Oh.
Always.
Because it
true.
really didn't take very long for doors to begin to open, and I went through them, and pretty soon I had a housekeeping company where I had up to 300 clients.
Wow.
I'm here to tell you that no two women want their house cleaned the
The
same.
same way.
I bet
Seriously?
men don't either, do they? No.
No. Our homes are very different. He cleans one way and I clean a different way.
There you go.
I clean constantly. I have problems.
And I clean once a week. Deep clean once a month.
Well, and then that led to, because people didn't know anything, really opening a school. So then I had to go be a state board vocational school, the real deal, here in Colorado. And it should have taken me 6 months, but it only took me 2 months to put it together because the guy who happened to be director of the state board used to be my dean in Metropolitan University where I went to college. So he said, "Oh, I'll show you how to do it."
Wow.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And then that led to immediate placements of my graduates. So here we go. We finally have a school and real education. I told you I wrote this book.
Yeah.
704
She was just showing me
pages.
this book, y'all. I was like, "Did you write a book?" She was like, "Several of them." So how many books did you write?
18.
8. I don't think I've read 18 books in my lifetime. But
Well,
here-
there's plenty behind.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
got to
God.
do something, for 41 years.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, here's the bottom line. No one had ever written anything about service. Think about where service came from, young man.
Right.
Did it come from slaves in servitude in this country?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did. And, nobody really took it on and made it something of a real profession. where people are paid big dollars. So I'm here to tell you, right? Servitude is gone. Servitude is gone.
So now, a lot of you out there, you probably think of service as you go out to Denny's or IHOP or whatever your favorite restaurant is, and then your waiter or waitress comes over and says, "What can I get for you? What would you like to drink? Here's the menu." But there's so much more beyond that form of service, which is what we are trying to get across to you guys today, and we're going to go into dealing. So what exactly, tell us more about the service industry.
Well, I have about almost
What did you create in this industry?
Way back at the beginning, I discovered that there was no terminology. Little cooking and cleaning was all that was out there. And so I realized, and because I am a social worker by education, that I had to figure out what this profession was because there wasn't any. Little cooking and cleaning out there. I could tell you stories. When I first started advertising, if you say in the newspaper that you know how to cook, it really was a undercover thing for prostitution. Oh my God, I cannot tell you the lessons I have learned.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Who knew that? I didn't know.
Cooking was associated with prostitution?
Do not associate me.
Interesting. Wow.
That's that. Anyway, so I had to begin. What do I want to call my graduates? Because I'm gonna have a school and I have growth. So what do I call them? Butlers? I didn't like the word butleress.
That doesn't fit well.
Way too formal. So I looked in the dictionary. Have you out there, any of you, ever looked up the term to serve? Well, I'm here to tell you Webster's dictionary. I pulled it out. In those days, we did a book and a dictionary instead of Google.
Oh, yeah.
So I pulled the dictionary out, and under to serve, it says as in servant, as in minister or priest, as in military service, as in public service like our politicians are supposed to be, and as in prostitution.
Oh.
That's the
Can't get away from
definition
this
of to
prostitution.
serve.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you, I looked at that and I said, we need to have a term that fits men and women.
Yeah.
We need to have a term that can go forward and identify the people that we're training. And anyway, so I came up with the term household manager.
Household manager.
I coined it. I created it. It's used everywhere today. I have about 1,700 graduates.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
And you tell me.
So how long is the course, like for you, from beginning to the end?
It depends upon what your background has been. We've done 2-month courses, 360 hours. We've done 5-week courses. We've done 4-week courses, and we've done 1-week courses.
Gotcha.
Right now, we're in the process. We're now calling it advanced household management. And we're only taking people that have a background, some kind of background serving in some way.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's what we're doing now. And it's 4 weeks. And my director of education, Xavier Medicine, is tough as nails. I'm here to tell you, you think you know how to clean. You think you know how to clean. I thought I knew how to clean. I had 17 years of it.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I don't.
Wow.
He is the creme de la creme French. Okay, creme de la creme. He's from France. His first position was with Princess Grace and Prince Rainier. The boy was taught from the very beginning. I think he was 15 or 16 when he went to work for them.
Wow.
Anyway, long story short, he's now, thank you God, with me and with Starkey and on our team. And the courses are tough. They're really tough. But let's go back to service.
Yes.
Okay? I had to figure out what service was. I'm here to tell you that definition didn't help much. It gave me a lot of ways of what people did for a living who serve, but not what is it to serve. I want you to define for yourself out there, anybody who's listening, define for yourself what is service to you. What is service to you? I'm here to tell you nobody's going to have the same answer.
No, probably not.
Nobody. And so it took me, and that's one of the reasons, by the way, that nobody's delved into this profession. It's too hard. I mean, it's a mess. Because the product of service is what we really teach, okay? But most people think it's like how well I cook or clean or organize, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell me. You've been doing it.
There's so much more to it than what people think. It's not just about the cooking and the cleaning and the running errands if that's a part of your job description. I honestly see it, and every time I get the opportunity to talk about this, I see it as going to a ballet or an opera. It's a show, and if you can perform well enough that each of your constituents in your audience is able to come back every time and say, I want more of this presentation, I want more of this show, then you're doing exactly what should be done.
But how do you get there?
The only way to get there, I think, is one, not just through studying, but you have to care. You have to have a heart that
Passion.
Service heart. That's one of our terms.
You have to have a service heart. And if you don't have a service heart, then there's absolutely no way that you can.
It's not the job for you.
Yeah.
So every profession out there has to have a vision of what people do.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have to have a language to speak more sophisticatedly. Law has a language.
Right.
Health has a language.
Sure.
Lawyers have a language. I mean,
even
everybody had to have a language. I had to create a language. Okay. Today we have 100 words. 100 words.
That's in the dictionary right now?
That's in the book. And we...
Wow.
Really, 100 words.
That's cool.
Anyway, so you have to have a vision.
Earlier.
You have to have a vision. You have to have a language. And you have to have process. How things are accomplished. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have those three things. And if you do, then you have a profession. If you don't have those things, you don't have a profession.
Mm-hmm.
And service never really had a profession. You know what they do? Most hotels say the client's always right.
Right.
Isn't that a McDonald's?
That's everywhere.
Are you always right?
I mean, no.
Are you always right?
I think I'm always right.
I mean, I act like I'm always right.
But no.
I can tell you I'm not always right.
Yeah.
In fact, the real problem with service is people typically really don't know what they want. You know, beyond. Now let's just go into a restaurant for a minute, okay?
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Well, why don't we make it easy and say, okay, I want a hamburger, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But then, how is it cooked?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the level of beef? Is it Wagyu or is it McDonald's?
Right.
Ugh. And the list goes, and then what do you want on it?
Yeah, what kind of cheese? Do you want some
And do you want
condiments?
onions, or do you want mushrooms with it, or cheese with it? I mean, the list goes on. That's just a hamburger. Go into a private home with all the myriad of questions and ways that people want things, and say to yourself, I wonder how long it takes to learn what a client really wants.
Interesting. Oh.
It has been, had anybody told me how tough this was going to be, man, I would have been out there. Out the back door. It's been hard. It's taken everything I've had and much more. But here's the bottom line. We only get 15 minutes to talk about this. So I want to say to you, it took me, I wrote this book. You want to get the book, the original guide for private service management, and we call it our Bible.
There are 700 plus pages in this book, y'all.
And what is amazing is it took me 10 years to literally figure out how service works. When does it become service? Because if you try to give something, okay, and the guy doesn't want it, it's never going to happen no matter what you do.
That's true.
Right? If you try to identify this woman's needs by how she looks or her body language, it really doesn't. Beyond the fact that she probably wants help, it's not going to answer. So it took me 10 years to figure out this is really true. It's a circular event, okay, where I identify, or whoever's giving this service, identifies the person that they're going to serve. And then they identify what it is they really want. And that might take a few questions or two.
To get in there.
In a house, it takes a whole language. Then after that, the person who I'm giving to has to decide they want to be served. Not everybody does.
I see that.
So common case of a relationship.
It takes a relationship. That's why the last chapter is called The Relationship of Service. Has to go completely on because, the endorphins you feel when you give to someone and it works.
Right.
And the feeling that it happens when they say, get the hell out of my Dodge. So the point is, it has circular in giving and receiving, and giving and receiving, and giving and receiving, and it's a circular event.
For it to be like successful, the service aspect of things. Interesting. I didn't think that, because I've served before at a restaurant. I thought it was just me as a server. That was my duty to serve the people. Other than asking them what they wanted.
Did you tap dance?
I should have. I should have. But I didn't think it makes sense. It's a relationship. Makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. That's cool.
Even if it's an immediate one. Where you look at someone, you really look them in the eye and say, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Immediately draw them in.
Bring them in.
So that it becomes a give and a take. Right? Now, you're working in private service.
Yes.
You're in a new job. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah, why?
Why? Well, I am treated like an actual human being. That's like the best thing I can say. And it works. Like when you're in this setting and you take the time to understand the people in which you are engaging with, then it makes that much for a beautiful soiree,
Yeah.
if you would.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you're not best friends.
No.
You always keep your professionalism in place, but it is a relationship.
Right.
It isn't someone who just, looks at you and expects you to figure it out.
Right. And then also in that, eventually over time, yes, you do get to learn of
Absolutely.
the individuals in which you're working with or working for, your clients, so to speak. And you tend to know what they want before they even open their mouths, but it takes some time to get to that. It's not an immediate thing. But again, it's having a service heart. It's understanding what those needs are for this industry, for the individuals in which you're working for, and being able to supply to them exactly what they need. It does take practice. It does take education. And the education can be found right here at the Starkey Institute.
I have one thing I want to say about service that was early days. it blew me away.
Mm.
So now as I told you, all the hotels say the client's always right.
Right.
Okay? Actually, everybody says that.
Yeah.
The client's always right.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what they want, they're always right. Well, you learn pretty quickly that they're not always right.
Right.
In fact, most often, they have no idea what they're asking you to do. They don't know what it takes.
Right.
So I reconfigure people's minds, students' minds. I say to them, it isn't that the client's always right, it's that they have a right to ask for what they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's different
Right.
than being right.
Sure. Yeah.
And so if you come in with that mentality that they have a right to ask for what they want, what are you doing? Finding out what they want.
Yeah.
See?
Let's go.
That little piece of knowledge that they're not always right blew me away. And it got me to where I am today, 41 years later, with clients keep calling me. And graduates or potential students keep coming to class.
Let's go. I may have to take that 1 week course or something. I mean, something. If you would take me. Do I fit the bill?
Well, send me your resume.
Okay. I used to work at Denny's. That's
Actually, you better send the resume to Xavier because he chooses everybody.
Oh, I will be on his good graces.
So if you out there think that you have a service heart, if this is something that is of any interest to you, you want to know more about it, yes, you can take to Google, shoot us a DM. I'm still
A private
learning those
message.
things.
That's what.
And then we'll get you in contact with the source.
Well, this wasn't supposed to be an ad for Starkey.
And it really isn't.
We were
It's
talking
solely-
about service.
It's solely just about service. But since we're here, might as well put a plug in if you guys are interested in learning or knowing more about the service industry, and not just what media tells you service is, but actually living it.
Yeah.
On that note, we love you guys. Thanks for watching.
And thank you to our guests.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good times, y'all. Deuces.